Good evening, and you're very, very welcome to the very first ever Kerry basketball show here on Kerry Sports Hub. And we'll be hoping that you can keep in contact with us through Twitter or Facebook there as the evening goes ahead. Now, very, very busy show. As you can imagine, the Super Leagues are just around the corner. The draws for the National Cups were made a while ago as well, and we'll have information on those quite shortly. But first, I suppose we'll get into it. St. Mary's are back in action for the first time after an 18-month wait. And we popped over to Garvey, St. Mary's, Castleisland, and we met up with Liam Culloty and Emma Sherwood.
Great to be back, thankfully. It's been a long layoff. We were here this time 12 months ago and we thought we were kicking off for a season, but 2 days before it was due to start we were shut down. So been a long layoff, been a long 12 months. We're happy where we are now and we're really looking forward to getting started.
And how difficult was that layoff? I mean, basketball is a game that you need to be playing continuously, I suppose, throughout the winter. That layoff, does it affect players? Is it something that they can come back to fairly quickly, or do you have to start again a little bit?
In fairness, you do have to be playing it all the time to kind of stay as sharp as you can, and we saw that when we came back training first, when we were allowed back last month. You know, there was a bit of rust, alright, but you know, we had players playing a lot of football over the summer, and we had players playing on the international Ireland teams. So in fairness, fitness-wise, it wasn't a problem when we came back. It's just trying to sharpen up our skills and get ourselves ready for a road. And
of course, I suppose every team is starting at the same block. Everybody was laid out for the same amount of time. How about your own panel? A lot of different players in, or a lot of the same players that you would have had maybe?
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have the main core kind of back from 2 years ago, let's say, when we were playing Division 1 and that team got promoted. We've most of those girls back again. Now we have an injury with O'Shea. She's out unfortunately with a bad injury, but other than that, you know, we have one retirement, Greta Bar, and I think that's about it. We're obviously adding in a professional player this year for the first time, and we're really excited to bring her in and see what she can add to the team. And we've got a couple of younger girls coming up through from the club as well. So it's been a bit, pre-season's been a bit all over the place, you know, we're kind of jiggling here and there between football and everything's kind of jamming together, but you know, once the game starts, I'm sure we'll be ready for it.
And of course the games are starting on Friday night. I mean, it's amazing you go from training right into to the match itself. It's a tough opener.
Tough opener, tough opening couple of weeks, to be honest. Glanmire away in the first game, and they're very strong now this year, and I think they have 2 Americans and really strong Irish players, and I think the following weekend then we play DCU as well, so I think it's 2 of the probably best teams in it in the first 3 weeks. So like, we're going in with no kind of pressure on us really. We're kind of, the first couple of weeks especially, just because it's going to be raw for everybody getting back in, and they're kind of free shots and free games, and I think once we get over those little hurdles, once the games settle in and we're back into kind of routine of it, definitely I think come November time we'll be looking at really challenging and getting a couple of wins under our belt. Definitely. And
of course you really are stepping up, because the last time you were here you were Division 1, now you're Super League, you really are up with them. There's a lot to be learned up at this level, isn't there?
Massive, yeah, massive. I mean, obviously the girls are going to be playing the best players in the country. I think it's 2005, I think was the last time there was a Kerry ladies team in the Super League, so it's great that the club have really backed us, and you know, we've players small around the county as well, from Dingle down to South Kerry, Killarney, you know, Castleisland, so you know, everyone's kind of, there's a good feel around the place, and I think that we're all really excited for the challenge.
And of course your first game here will be in a couple of weeks time. It'll still be at the limit of just 100, but once that date passes by, there will be big crowds coming, so there will be big time basketball back in Castleisland, and the complex will be rocking again.
Please God, yeah, please God. The 16th I think we're home to quarter matches, yeah, and then hopefully come, I think, the 22nd, 23rd of October, I think that'll kind of ease off, and more people can come in, and you know, everyone misses the buzz of the basketball games, be it Tralee or Killarney or Castleisland or wherever. There's nothing like a Saturday night with tight game and crowd buzzing, and we're all really excited for it, yeah.
Well, Liam, we look forward to plenty of tight games throughout I suppose into the winter and into the spring, coming out the other side of it, and the very best of luck to you and your squad throughout the season.
Thanks very much, John, appreciate it.
I had 4 great years up there. My first time playing Super League. We had a few very good years. My first year actually ended up breaking my leg, so that was short-lived, but after that then we had 3 brilliant years. Tough opponents all over the court. You get great experience between the players themselves, different, like, different games, different teams, different opponents. Then of course you've the likes of the Americans coming in, you're always learning, you've new coaches. It's brilliant. It was a great experience. I loved every bit of it.
And of course basketball is coming back after such a long layoff. Is that something difficult to get back in up to the speed of a game, I suppose, having not probably played competitively for maybe 18 months or even a little bit more?
Oh, of course, basketball especially. Like, we're probably lucky here in Kerry, we're all kind of playing football over this summer anyway. But basketball is just a completely different fitness. It's just so much quicker, so much, you're always on the go. Like with football, you do have a bit more to not to do time off, but you have a bit more to kind of get your breath back. Whereas with the basketball, you're always on the go. It's the 5 on. But definitely, like, we've only the last couple of weeks, we've really got our numbers back. So we have been struggling, when I mean struggling, I mean physically trying to get our conditioning back. But it's getting there slowly, but we will get there. We're all just so excited, like we can't wait. Everyone is going to be on the same boat, which is a good thing. Everyone's had that massive layoff, but everyone is so excited to get back. All the other teams will be the same, they're just roaring to get going and ready to start the season, I think.
And of course it is a blend of kind of experience and a lot of youth coming through as well, which is great, I suppose, for Castleisland, because it really is kind of a home of basketball within Kerry as well. How exciting is it to see younger players coming through, Emma, the ones that you probably would have watched maybe come up the ranks maybe at a little bit younger than you were at that time?
It's brilliant. Like, say the likes of Paris now and Denise, everyone is just going to really step up. They're teaching us tricks. Paris is out there teaching us ball handling skills. Like, she's a player beyond her years. She's one that's sticking out now first. But they all bring different components that will just mould us as a team together. Everyone has their own strengths. Like I said, they're teaching us tricks, we're helping them along. There's no age, I don't think. I'm definitely on the other end of that scale, so I hope that I can help them and they'll definitely help me. So we're all just a team together and we just try do as one and go forward as one. I'm just looking forward to it, I think, now.
And of course it is going to be a long season, I suppose. There's no championship won in the first couple of games. A couple of really tough openers for you,
yes, yeah, we do. We have a very tough opener. Our first three and then the double header straight into it as well. So we're really going to get straight into the Superleague. Like, we haven't been in it. A lot of these girls haven't had any experience, so they're going to get it in the first match. Like, we're going to see the difference in the scale. It'll be the pace, it'll be the skill of the players, like the shooting ability, all that. Just like the National League, don't get me wrong, was brilliant, but it's just another step up for everybody. And no better way than a way to Glanmire to start that off. But look, we all look forward to it, and we know that we'll give it our best chance, and we'll fly the flag for St Mary's. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely, of course, that game tips off on Friday evening. Of course, you're getting ahead of all the rest of the Kerry.
Yeah.
We wish you the very best of luck, I suppose, flying the flag for Kerry, and of course we'll be checking in throughout the season. Hopefully we'll get a couple of results along the way, and it'll be great to have the crowds back here in Castleisland.
I know, we're looking forward to it. Great. I know it'll be a couple more weeks, but it'll be great to have people in. I think everyone's just so excited to get back playing and get into playing games again. Like I said, when the football started, we were like lunatics around the place, so it'll be even worse now when it's indoors. I think we just look forward to it now, and can't wait to see everybody back.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Of course, that is Emma Sherwood, of course, and of course it's actually Emma Cotto these days, of course. She had a very big day last June, and we congratulate her on that as well. I suppose big days to come, plenty draws, of course, taking place this evening, and we're going to take you through the National Cup draws. Obviously 5 teams very interested in where they are going. Now the President's National Cup draw was made earlier today, and obviously the 2 teams from Killarney have a huge interest in this one. Now the men's Division 1 National Cup, it has 17 teams, so there was a preliminary round, and Scots Lakers drew the preliminary round out, and they have home advantage over Portlaoise Panthers, and that is the preliminary round. And now if they win that, they will go ahead and play Father MATHEWS. And the other Killarney side, of course, making their cup debut will be Killarney Cougars, and they drew home advantage over Limerick Celtics. Now, I suppose the interesting thing about that is that all going well, both sides could meet each other in a semi-final. And could you imagine an all-Killarney Cup semi-final? Something really to look forward to. Now, the other draws, of course, that were made earlier there, just about 6:27 on 2FM, were the Paddy O'Connor National Women's draw, of course. One team here for Kerry, Team Garvey St Mary's, and they have drawn another tough draw actually. They've drawn DCU Mercy in round 1, and if they win that, they will have a home quarter final against Leixlip. But again, a very, very tough draw. Of course, the Women's National Cup, named after the great Paddy O'Connor of Killarney fame. Of course, Kerry men very proud. Now, the big one, of course, is the Pat Duffy Cup. It's the one that we've all kind of grown up out of over the years. of course, watching television and all the huge heroes that we've had. Garvey's Three Warriors, they've drawn Tradehouse Ballincollig with the winners playing my Culloty in the quarter-final, so Garvey's are in round 1 there. Now, and Team 360 Financial Killorglin, well, they certainly didn't get a great draw either, I suppose, because they must await the winners of Belfast Star and DBS in 2 very tough teams, so very, very, very tough assignment for Killorglin there. But they are in the quarterfinals, and as I said, Garvey's are in round 1. So they're the 5 teams. They're all cup action. Of course, cup action will be put on hold now for a small while because we're going to play a couple of rounds of the National League and the Superleague. And we were just talking to St. Mary's. They're making the step up. It's their first time ever in the Superleague. But another team making a step up is Killarney Cougars, all ready to go, of course, 18 months ago into the National League. And of course, COVID held everything together and stopped them. But they're looking forward to the new season. And we sent Cóilín Duffy, of course, to Dublin a couple of days ago at the national launch. And he caught up with some of the Killarney Cougars players.
Yeah, I'm only just joined them now, just turned 16, so I'm eligible to play this season.
It's very exciting, I suppose, when you're up at something like this, but not just that, I suppose, with no basketball for quite a long time. Obviously, schools basketball will be coming on stream as well in the next while. It's exciting times to be involved in basketball at the moment.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're no basketball for ages. First sport, I'm actually really glad it's coming back. Schools basketball coming back next week. It's great.
And talk to me about where you're in school and playing basketball there.
I'm going to St. Brendan's College, and Andrew Fitzgerald, a team member on the National League squad, is also coaching me. So it's great there, coaching all the young players in the school, first year all the way up to 6th year.
And you're quite excited for the competitions to come back, I suppose. Do you know who you'll be facing yet? Obviously, I suppose everything's kind of up in the air a little bit at the moment.
All we know is our first game is October 9th, and we're playing the Demons, which will be a tough game.
Have you much experience in schools basketball at all? I suppose, given the fact that you're just 16, given the fact for the last kind of 2 school years, I suppose there's been none to very little basketball at least. It's fresh for everybody involved, really.
Yeah, basically only in first year I got to play basketball, and we did well. We got to the quarter-final stage and then we're knocked out, unfortunately.
And in terms of playing basketball in school, like, I mean, obviously people say the books and the education side is important, but it's important to have sport, to have that balance too.
Yeah, it's very important. Teachers will always make sure you have your homework and everything done before you even go to training. Then you'll have the chance to play in the team. If you're misbehaving, the coach will not let you play, so that's where the balance is.
You talked about playing some basketball in first year. Had you much success there? Was there many games?
Yeah, it was a full season basically first year. We played well, won most of our games. Semi-final up in University Limerick, we got knocked out against the team from Dublin, I think. So.
And obviously a lot of good players in the school as well, and a lot of people in the past who've moved on to greater things as well, and you aspire to be like that, and some of them of course involved with the Cougars as well also.
Yeah, there's many great players that have gone through that come in the odd time to help out with basketball, and it's great to know that they've done what we can't do in the school.
How do you think the lads are going to get on now in the National League? You know, we see all the teams here today and it's quite exciting. You'd be hopeful that they might be back here maybe for a cup semi-final or something in the not too distant future.
Yeah, hopefully I look around and everyone's much taller than me anyway, so hopefully the lads will have a better chance. Hopefully we're here one day playing in a semi-final or a final even.
What's it like being around a squad of senior players and kind of what you can learn from them? I suppose it's the early days for yourself, as we said, but it's good to kind of ease yourself into it, if you want to say, as well.
Yeah, it's great. You can just feel the experience within the squad. We've players I'm playing before I was even born, and the coach as well coming in. I've learned so many new things. I've only been training with them a month or so. That's it.
And overall, I mean, obviously you've been playing basketball, I'm sure, for a few years now. You know, it's very healthy within Kerry in general as well, and good competition among the schools. There's always been good, strong club teams, underage. You know, you see the likes of the Castleisland Blitz and the huge success that has, and the various teams involved and players as well. I'm sure you've been involved in a lot of that in the past too.
Yeah, there's so many competitions in Kerry. It's great. It's probably one of the best counties for basketball, in my opinion. There's the Castleisland Blitz, there's Kerry teams, regional squad, Southwest, Ireland trials, there's everything. and there's a lot of great coaches in Kerry as well. So
A day off school for you today, was it?
yeah, I'm transition year this year, so I wasn't missing much anyway. So
Well, all the best. Hope to talk to you in the future. Good man, thanks.
thank you.
With September as its starting date, then October as the starting date, you're kind of on the court, being pulled from the court. So to actually get to the stage now where you know the season is going ahead, just can't wait to get there, get out there. We had a couple of challenge matches already, so yeah, just can't wait for the season to start now and get the ball rolling.
Huge tradition of basketball in Killarney, in Kerry. You know, there's huge interest ahead of these games, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even for the challenge matches there now, we had a good, we had a few people down. You know, you look at Tralee's base; they're packing out every night. Killorglin always have a very good support. I mean, first few years with Killarney, we were packing out the aura as well. So look, hopefully we'll get the presentation gym filled on Saturday nights or Sundays, whenever the games are. Hopefully we'll get a bit of local support behind us as well, and you know, it would be good to have a local derby on the cards again. You know, I'm sure people will like to see St. Paul's and Cougars go head to head this year.
A year and a half without any indoor action. It's been incredible, really, when I suppose you see other sports, particularly field sports, of course, they've all been back in action for a long time, and a lot of teams, some didn't actually really stop for very long at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very hard to kind of stay basketball fit, really. It's such a, you're not really cruising, you're going from 0 to 110% activity all the time. So, you know, with football, with rugby, with soccer, there's a lot of kind of cruising. You can go for runs, you can go for jogs. You know, you can get out in the pitch, kick a ball off a wall or whatever. There's a bit you can do. Obviously, you can dribble a basketball on your own. You don't need a court for it, but as far as shooting goes, practice, kind of getting game ready, it's very difficult to get back into it after this long an absence. Really, you know, we can see it already. There's a lot of rust on bodies, on handles, on touch, shooting touches. But look, as I say, season's just around the corner, so I'm sure by Christmas we might feel like all the cobwebs have been darned out.
How's it been keeping check, I suppose, during the off-season? Zoom sessions with players, was that how you kept each other motivated, or a lot of individual work, I'm sure, too, and probably some outdoor court action as well?
Yeah, I mean, it was, as I say, it was all up in the air. We had a different coach there last year. Ignis, who previously coached in Killorglin, is after joining us now. This year he's just back from Germany, where he's coaching professionally, so it's great to have him on board as well for the season. But I suppose with all the uncertainty, we didn't really have any solid indication of where it was going, what was happening, so it was very much up to players on their own to, I suppose, to motivate themselves and stay fit of their own accord. We didn't really do anything, keep anything going at a club level. There was no access. You know, we saw what happened with a couple of football teams there that got caught training and, you know, outdoors. You know, the GAA clamping down on them quite hard. So it was very much on an individual basis, as I say. But we're back training now. We've teamed together with maybe 5 or 6 weeks, I'd say. Well, 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, we're looking. Every week is getting better. As I say, it's a new club, new coach, new squad. So it's getting there. Every week is getting a bit better. We're starting to gel a bit better. So with every passing game, every training session, we'll look for small improvements.
What's it been like having Ignis involved and all the experience that he has? What's he been bringing to the setup?
I suppose just structure, really, and a good basketball brain. You know, straight away, I suppose he's able to recognise what personnel he does have. You know, we're not going to be tall, we're not going to be big. We don't really have many guys that can play back to basket. So, you know, having a coach who recognises what he has and what he can do with what he has is very important. So I think I'm just impressed with his basketball brain, really, how he adapts to situations. You know, we'll run a couple of sets in practice. If it's not working, he'll adapt it, he'll change it, and you know, very fluid coach that way, which is, as I say, very important for a club that's starting off and that maybe at the moment doesn't have quite a full squad, no imports, no professionals. You know, Justin Twasson's our American, but apart from that, we're not. We've no professionals on board, so I think his influence this year is going to be huge. Yeah.
How important is it keeping it local for yourselves? And I suppose that helps encourage the next generation of Kerry basketball players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose there's a fine line between success, you know, fighting for promotion, fighting for trophies. If you're going to be doing it with, you know, a panel of 4, 5, 6 players that, you know, haven't seen Kerry before they're brought in just to play basketball. So, yeah, we certainly want the club ethos that young guys like Nathan there growing up, he's looking at the national team, National League team. He's seeing that there's Killarney players playing. As he's going through the ranks then at 18, 19, 20, he knows there's a starting spot opening up for him when the older guys are retiring and, you know, whatever, that the club is going to stay with local players. And I think that's the, as I said, that's the kind of foundation we're trying to build within the club, that it's very much there for the future, for the underage players that are winning Cougars right now. It's a team for them, really.
And there's a huge excitement, I suppose, to be involved at the moment as well. It seems there's a lot of freshness involved. Yourselves, obviously, a new season. It's been so long without competitive basketball. Then on a national level, there's a new sponsor for the competitions. They've obviously got a new logo as well. There's a real kind of sense of starting from the new and getting things motoring the way it should be, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you look around the country there, a lot of players have been moving around, moving between clubs recently. You know, a lot of guys that we've been playing with, you know, clubs for 10, 15, 20 years, going all the way through the underage, moving around a bit. You know, you obviously with National League and Superleague, you've teams coming up and being promoted, relegated, new teams coming online. So certainly going to be, I think, a very exciting year for Irish basketball, definitely, especially on the back of the recent Irish senior success, you know, with the small countries tournament as well, you know. So I think it'll definitely be a very exciting year all around.
What odds do you think of the Cougars getting back here to the National Basketball Arena in Tallaght and maybe contesting finals or big games at least in the near future?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, you know, we're a little bit undermanned at the moment. We probably don't have as many players as what we want, and don't fill out as many positions as what we'd like to. But you know, I think once we stay competitive in the league, we'll be happy. And you never know what'll happen in the cup. You get a bit of luck, get a look at the draw. So hopefully with a good cup run, we might see the arena again yet this year.
What are the goals for the initial stage? Like, is it a game-by-game approach? Have you set a target for a certain amount of points by Christmas? Kind of, what are the thoughts as you head into the league now?
Absolutely, we just want to be competitive every game, you know. There's a couple of good teams here. You know, Demons are back down to National League now. I think they'll have a good squad. MATHEWS will probably be very good. There's a couple of very good teams out there that have been together for a while. Carlow, that team has been together for a long time, you know. So it is very much game by game. As I said, new coach, new squad, new club, everything's brand new. So we'll take it on a game by game basis. Once guys are putting the effort in, we will be competitive, and we'll take it game by game, definitely.
All the best for the season ahead. Thanks so much.
Thanks a million.
There you go, Mark Greene ending that segment for Killarney Cougars, and earlier in that conversation, of course, with Nathan Cox, a bright and upcoming player, of course, and one to look out for in the future, and he was savouring all the day as well. And of course, Mark Greene hoping that it'll be an exciting season. Of course, it's going to be an exciting season, and it's certainly going to be an exciting season in Killarney, because literally just across the road, St. Paul's were also doing their training, and we caught up with them as well in the next segment, and we spoke to Paul Clarke, we spoke to Ben Miller, and we spoke to Mark O'Shea.
It's fantastic to be back. I suppose we went through all last season doing pre-season, then got the season cancelled just before the game, so it looks just excited to get back out there and get cracking for the year. And Ben, of course, yourself, of course, you're obviously sitting out as well, out of action. Where did you go to or pop out for the 18 months?
I spent most of my time back in Canada, kind of split the action between my hometown Winnipeg and Nova Scotia, Canada as well. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in Killarney, but happy to be back. So you're the best of both worlds while you're over there. Paul, we're looking ahead, of course, to the new season. I suppose we're waiting for it long enough. It came around fast enough. Big game, of course, only a couple of days away. First thoughts? Yeah, look, we know CELTICS, they're a great team. You know, they have a few imports as well, like most teams, but
look, we feel like we're in good stead. Like we've a nice panel out there, a strong panel, and so hopefully now we can push on this year. And look, we're a young team too, but let's see how high we can get up the table. Hopefully push on for bigger things.
And of course, Ben, I suppose it's all about the panel and the roster, and I suppose improving players along. Results, of course, important as well. You've been in and out of this panel, I suppose. What do you see as the key advantages and the key strengths of the group you're with?
Well, we brought in a great big guy from Bulgaria in Emilian, so he'll be a great addition for us. And as well as our Irish players, our local guys, we have some good young players, and they're looking to improve and get better and help us out a lot.
And of course, Ben, yourself, I suppose you're waiting to get back into Irish action. Obviously, we're over in Canada. What's it like to be back with the boys?
Oh, it's nice just to be part of a team again. It's been awesome. Just looking forward to get some more games going and grab a couple wins with the team.
And of course, Paul, sometimes they say that the strength of the team is the unity in part itself. Very unified group inside, training away in Kilcoman. Really looking forward to the action.
Absolutely, you know, I suppose we are a very young team, but you know, there's a lot of that group, all the young guys have all played together all the way up. And then you've like myself and Mark played together all the way up as well. So look, we're a nice group, we're gelling well together. Hopefully now we can push on just for a season.
And Ben, we start with a couple of away games, but when we do get back home, what's the supporters looking to expect?
Just a team that works really hard, and myself, a guy who likes to get everyone involved, and hopefully does whatever it takes to win.
Okay, very best luck to you guys, and very best luck to you to the season ahead, and we'll be catching up with you after each game, hopefully, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's lovely to be back, to be fair, after I suppose we were ready to start the season last year, and it was kind of called off the few days before the Cougars game, so it's lovely to be back, and I suppose we're out the weekend, so it's nice to have some fixture to look forward to.
And of course, it's great to get back into training. Of course, I mean, there's a lot of players involved, and obviously they're training inside. And as you said, the big game is only a couple of days away. What was it like for that break to have off 18 months? I mean, basketball is the kind of a sport that you need to be have a ball in your hand all the time. Is it difficult to get back to the speed of the game after 18 months?
I suppose it was. Yeah, I suppose every fella kind of kept their touch, like they were shooting or doing a few drills. The boys were sending in a few bits to get done and stuff, so it was very good. But yeah, I suppose once we got back, we kind of hit the ground running. We tried to get as much game time as possible into us, and we got a few pre-season games, and looking forward now.
How's the panel going, the roster itself? I suppose there's a few new players, new additions to the team.
Yeah, we've been the American and Emilian the Bosman, so they're massive additions to us, to be fair. The professionalism they bring to the setup, even, you know, it's massive, and I suppose they're both young themselves and are kind of a young team ourselves. So I suppose there's a good mix there.
And of course, the one thing is that a lot of young players coming through now as well. I mean, St. Paul certainly created an awful lot of youth. They're coming onto the panel as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like the likes of Sinol there and Daniel Carl, and even Jamie, who represented, who had played with Ireland. Like there's massive talent coming through, and I suppose it's great to see, because it's, like, I grew up in Killarney, going to the games up in the INEC. It was always such a big night, and I suppose it's nice to see, hopefully, them big nights coming back.
Well, hopefully there'll be plenty of big nights later on in the year. Your first couple of games, of course, away from home, but there'll be plenty of home games to look forward to later in the season, and we wish you the very best to look after your teammates as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. That's Mark O'Shea, of course, of Scots Lakers, finishing that segment. And of course, the head of him was Ben Miller and Paul Clarke. Now we've two teams left, of course, and Garvey's Warriors officially launched their 2021-22 season in the Tralee Sports Complex on Monday evening. The 2019 champions took a bit of time out with the media getting ready and the preparations, of course, for their big game, of course, against local rivals Killorglin, which will be tipping off on Saturday night. So we tagged along, and we got a couple of interviews. We spoke to John Dowling, we got Terry O'Brien, and we spoke to Jim Garvey as well.
Back a long way. I suppose this season is probably a bit more important, not in terms of basketball, but in terms of the people of Tralee coming back in and getting back to life as normal. And part of the fabric of Tralee life was coming to the complex on a Saturday night. So I think for you this year, it's not so much about the actual matches, it's about the local Tralee community coming back in, being able to express themselves, getting life back to normal. it's part and parcel of Tralee. It's great to have it back. I mean, that's the big thing. And look, from our point of view, from Garvey's, I just don't acknowledge as well, just Kevin O'Donoghue, like, you know, Kevin's very involved in the committee, and obviously Kevin is with us a long time, so it's great to have that connection there. And I know a few more of you have been through us as well, right? But look, we're just delighted to be involved. Just like to acknowledge as well, we're doing Castleisland ladies as well, and I know they're out Friday night. So look, our investment in basketball has been a long-term investment for us. But always when you come to the complex, we're always made to feel so welcome, and there's such a great atmosphere, and we really appreciate it, and we appreciate how well the club is run. It's always an easy conversation with Terry every year, once Donny doesn't come down, but after that we're okay.
Great to be here launching tonight, so we're all excited, and hopefully COVID behaves itself and we all behave ourselves, and look, we just want the season, everyone's basketball back. The town, the county's bursting, all the committee can tell you we're getting harassed about season tickets, and can we get in, and do we just turn up, can we get, so we'll try and answer those questions over the next few days. Last night it was announced that all clubs have agreed that we'd let 60% of the capacity in for the first 2 weeks, and after the 22nd it's very fluid, but they're hoping that we can open the doors again, just I suppose monitoring the situation as it goes on. So we're happy that we'll have maybe 300 or 400 fans here the next night to shout the lads on. Lads, thank you very much. We're here tonight, but you've been training for the last couple of months. Compliments to John and Garrett and Jimmy and Kathleen and the whole crew. You've done great. It's great to see new faces here. Welcome our new foreign players, Nico and Ronalds and Aaron. You're more than welcome. The usual suspects are here, Skinny and Star, and I know Quiggs is missing. He sends his apologies. Fergal's our captain this year, so we're delighted to have Fergal as captain. He's a dab hand on the golf course, but we're assured he'll be better this year on the basketball court, so we're looking forward to that. And to our new young players, Stephen and Ziggy, and I can't remember you all, but you're all very welcome. We're looking forward to shouting and cheering you on this year, and we wish you the best for it. To the committee, as always, lads, this club would be nothing without the lads in the committee. I know there's a few missing tonight, and Gerard and Kathleen, and there's a few more heads missing, but we appreciate what you do, because this wouldn't be happening only for the committee, because, you know, two nights a week outside my house roaring at each other trying to get this right and get that right. It's very important, so I just want to thank the committee and say, look, the most of it's done at this stage, so we'll have a busy few days, but hopefully look, come Saturday night we'll have a bit of music, we'll have something to cheer here, and we'll have the fans, and it'll be back to normal.
First time as they'll call it, but yeah, look, last year was disappointing, things didn't happen, but you know, the way things panned out with the year and all that, look, you know, it is what it is. We're trying to move on from it now, and we've been training now 6 or 8 weeks, so we're looking forward to next Saturday, especially against Killorglin. It's going to be a great game, and now that we're going to have a percentage of fans in the hall, it's giving the lads a huge lift in the committee, and everyone in the area, you know, they're mad to see it, so it's great to be back in the court. We're back now 6 or 7 weeks, but it's going to be fantastic to be back on Saturday night here in the complex.
And of course, at 18 months, it's a long layoff. I suppose a long layoff for players, but maybe management and coaches as well. I suppose people don't think of that as much. All the planning that you were ready to go. Do you have to redraw the playboard? Do you look at new players? What's it like that 18 months?
You definitely do, because you see, you bring in a certain personnel, and then you have to design your stuff around that, really. There's no point in having the offense and not bringing somebody in, or the defense. So when you recruit, then you restart then, and we started recruiting in June, and then you start signing, and you have a fair idea how you're going to look, but then obviously what you have to do then is you have to really sit down, and then when they get here you have to make more adjustments. So we're lucky that the lads were brought in early enough, so you have to make more adjustments to what their style is, what they like, how they like playing and stuff, and obviously we have a great base of local players here as well. So the layoff, I suppose, was bad in one way, but good in another way, because coaches got a chance to sit back and look at what they had been doing, and can they improve, and you know what type of courses you can do, etc, etc. So not that I enjoy being away from basketball, but I made the most of what we could do while we were away.
And of course, Tralee, I suppose it has a very rich heritage of basketball. A lot of kids coming through, going into schools, actually an awful lot of Tralee children, I suppose, at this stage, and early adults playing over in America and the whole lot. How important is it to have the club here to bring those players through?
Look, we were going nowhere without it. It's simple as that. We were, you know, when this was dreamt up 5 years ago, 2 or 3 years before that, myself and Terry and Jimmy and Pat, we were all talking about it, that our players were as good as any of the Neptunes or those, but they just didn't have the Superleague standard training when they got to 16 to continue their development. And that was where the issue was, and we knew that was the problem. And we had a group of older players that were made to play, so all of that is part of it. We have Brendans and Imperials feeding into one club, and that's the key. The key is that the two main clubs here in town are feeding into the one. And people are going to see on Saturday night kids that were 15 who are now 17 and talking out and playing here, and kids that were 17 are now starting and getting minutes. I mean, that's what the 18 months has brought. So it's absolutely essential to the whole thing. It's like not having a Kerry team. It's the same thing. You need a Superleague team here in town, and we're lucky that it's going from strength to strength. We have a panel of 16 players made up from young players from both clubs, and obviously the players that Fergal and Kieran and Skinny and all them who've already been here. But it's here to stay. We're very much working hard. The clubs, Brendans and Imperials, are working hard in the background to make sure it stays, and that's what's important, and that it's sustainable, and it's not a flash in the pan. So it's huge, and you're going to have 12 and 13 year olds come into the complex maybe for the first or second time in their life again, hopefully next Saturday night, and they're going to get the bug for it, and that's what it's all about.
And finally, I suppose the complex, it is kind of a home venue that should be the fortress. A limited amount of supporters in the next night. It is great to have so many back. Can 100 people make as much noise as a packed out complex? 100 of the right people can anyway, for sure anyway, and we might have a little bit more than that depending on what the fire marshal says. But look, anyone in here, we're delighted that anybody can get in here, and obviously we're going back to a full house. So the dream is when we have a full house here and we have a very competitive basketball team. That's the dream, and that's what we're going for, and all we're focused on now is the first game and hopefully getting a result. Yeah, there you go, John Dowling, looking ahead to next Saturday night, and of course the season ahead for the Tralee Garveys. Now, the one thing of course about them is that they brought in a new American. The American's name is Aaron Claxite, and we decided we'd catch up with Aaron above the national launch and get a bit more information off him and what brought him to Ireland, and particularly Tralee. Cóilín Duffy spoke
to win a lot of games, have a lot of fun, and to really connect with the fans of Tralee.
Do you know much about the opponents you're facing, much about Irish basketball in general?
Not too much. I would say we've had a couple of preseason games, so I'm kind of getting familiar with Irish basketball. But as far as the Super League teams, I don't know too much about.
What's attracted you to getting involved here? Obviously, there's a huge mix of international talent. There's a high standard, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of good vibes about what's been happening in Irish basketball over the years.
I think the biggest thing that really brought me to come here was just the love of Tralee, and the Warriors, the coaching staff, everyone around the club, just been very, very welcoming. And the fans, obviously the fans of Tralee, I've seen a lot of film, where the games have been packed, and that's something that I really look forward to.
Have you had much basketball yourself in the last 2 years or so? Obviously, all the talk here is about getting back to competitive action for the first time in a year and a half because of COVID and everything else. Have you been playing much basketball in the lead up to this yourself?
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of basketball since been home. During the pandemic, not so much, because a lot of things were shut down, but as things opened up more, I've definitely been in the gym, and I've been playing in a bunch of different tournaments and men's leagues and things like that.
And talk to me a bit about your own basketball experience. How did it come to pass that you got the call to come to Ireland and that you accepted it?
I mean, I was in college in 2019. I played in Georgia for a little bit. I missed last year because of the COVID. And then, just my agent, Coach John Dowling, and the Warriors just made it happen. We talked it out. We talked about my wants, their needs, and my needs, and it just made sense for us to go in the same direction. And that's kind of how it came about.
Had you been to Ireland before? What are your first impressions like of the place? I mean, there's a bit of a difference between being here in Dublin today in the National Basketball Arena and being down in Tralee, I'm sure, but it's nice all the same.
Yeah, I haven't been to Ireland prior to being here now, but I like it. I really do like it. The people are very, very nice. The food is good. People speak English, so it's not that far. It's not that far off from being home. But it's been a great experience so far for me.
I'm sure there's been a lot of talk. Obviously, you've been training the last few weeks, and people have been telling you about how big basketball is. You mentioned the fans earlier on, that people are crazy about basketball in Kerry, and you're playing alongside some real sporting legends as well. Kieran Donaghy's a player who's been a great basketballer, been a great Gaelic footballer. I'm sure people have been telling you a lot about the history of the club, the history of the players as well, and that's exciting for you at this stage of your career too.
Yeah, definitely exciting. Definitely exciting. You know, that's kind of one of the things I'm looking forward to, is just kind of embracing the culture. You know, I really feels like, especially in Tralee, that the fans care a lot and the players care a lot. You know, not just about basketball, but they really care about representing the city well and the town well. You know, so something that I'm really looking forward to, just competing alongside them and embracing the culture while I'm here.
I'm sure you're appreciative to be involved with this club, because there's such talent of players there already. It's going to be good battles to be on the court and get that game time as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like as you said, you know, there's a lot of known guys on the team already, you know, so I just feel like with my experience and what I bring to the table, we could really create something special with a lot of games this season.
For yourself, coming into a new team, obviously a different country, you know, it's a bit of bedding in and getting used to being involved and stuff, but no matter where you play basketball, I guess there's the same spirit, there's the same camaraderie, and there's a lot of familiarity to what you've been involved with other teams up to this, I'm sure too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I feel like it's really important to give back. It's really important to teach, you know, the youth, because they're the next generation coming up. So, you know, it's something that I don't mind doing at all, and I'm honestly appreciative of the fact that I can kind of spread my knowledge and kind of give my background of where I'm from and where I came from, and the experience that I've had, you know, to the younger generation. So, definitely something that I'm looking forward to doing the whole season.
What are your hopes for the season ahead? I guess to make your mark as a player and one of the you know, establish yourself well within the squad. You probably don't know much, if anything at all, about the other teams you're going to be facing, which I guess can be a good thing as well.
Yeah, definitely. Some of my things for the season is just for us to win a lot of games. You know, regular season champions. We want to go to the cup final and win the cup final. Yeah, and as you said, you know, I don't know anybody else, but I know what I can do. You know, I'm going to control what I can control, you know, through God's work, you know. So, you know, I just want to be the best I can for my teammates and win a lot of games and have a great season.
I guess it's about believing in yourself.
That, of course, is Aaron Claxite, of course, and you can see him playing for Garvey's Tralee Warriors, and he's going to be a huge fan, especially when he upgrades Tralee to a city status already. A guy with plenty of talent and a guy with plenty to talk about, and we'll probably get a bit more of him throughout the season. Now, Killorglin, of course, are their opponents, and of course, they've been busy throughout the season as well. They've changed sponsors, of course, and now they're Team 360 Financial Killorglin. Now, they welcome back Alan Thomas, the 6'4" guard. And he averages 22 points per game in the last stint with the Mid-Kerry side in the 2019-2020 season, and he certainly is also one of the great games entertainers and really a good guy to talk to. Now, they also have 6'7" swingman Simon Francis from Sweden, and he certainly is a great addition to their roster for the coming season. And of course, Simon has spent 4 years playing in the States, playing college basketball. So we decided that we would take a small look at what he has to offer and what he's going to bring to the game the next night. Sit back and watch 30 or 40 seconds of a very, very tall man and a very, very good basketballer. There you go, that's 6'7", all of Simon Francis of Killorglin, and if he's half as good as the video makes out, Killorglin fans are going to have something really exciting to watch with him and Alan Thomas, of course, and you can get to see them, of course, in the complex on Saturday evening. And of course, the height doesn't stop there. They have a 6'8", Zabiagre from Spain as well, and he's formerly of Temple Oak. So that is our kind of review and preview of all the teams. So when are they playing? When are they playing? The whole lot. We will throw up the fixtures, of course, now, and you can mark your calendar and card. Some games, of course, they're going to be limited by the amount of people that can get into them, but I'm sure people with the great season tickets, and there's many of you out there supporting the various clubs. So let's have a quick look at the fixtures. And there you go, of course, first up will be the team Garvey St. Mary's, and of course they are away to UCC Glanmire on Friday evening at 7:45 tip off. And of course they're in a very, very big group, of course, with Father Matthews and Trinity Meteors, Lakeside, Killarney, DCU, Mercy. You know, it certainly is a lot of talent inside that group. But as Liam Culloty says, they're looking to get off the ground fairly quickly, and they're looking for performances, and we hope they will have a good performance there on Friday evening. Now on to the Division 1 fixtures, and of course the Division 1, of course they're the Superleague fixtures, and of course the League 1, of course, and of course we're all over the place. It really is great to have new technology. We just keep pressing the button. There we go. And they are, of course, that's Miss Court Division 1 League as well. And we'll go on to the Men's League now. There we go. And that's, of course, the InsureMyVan.ie Men's Super League. And of course, the big game here, obviously, is Saturday evening. Garvey's at home to 360 Financial Killorglin, 7:30 tip off in the complex. And of course, the other big games there, of course, is Ballincolliger or Neptune. Marie, of course, always there as well with Mike Cullen. And then you have DBS 8 at Leicester, of course, and then you have the DCU Saints and Griffith College, the all Dublin clash. And then Eyes will, of course, will be on Belfast Star and UCD Marion, and they are tipping off on Sunday at 3 p.m. So by Sunday evening, we'll have the first round of fixtures completed. And of course, back to Division 1, featuring the two Killarney sides, Scots Lakers, Killarney. Of course, they're travelling away for their first couple of games. They're going to Limerick to play the Celtics. That game is on 7:15 on Saturday evening. And of course, the other Killarney side will be in action at home, of course, on Saturday evening, and they take on UCC Demons. Certainly not a team to be starting off with, of course, a very, very strong team. But as Mark Greene said, you know, you're going to test yourself with the best along the way, and Cougars are certainly up for that game at home in the Killarney Parades. And of course, the other games in that group, of course, will be the Limerick Sport Eagles. They take on Portlaoise. Drogheda, of course, will have the Titans at home. Sligo are at home to Talca Rovers. The University of Ulster Tigers, of course, are at home to the Dublin Lions. And on the Sunday, we have Carlow and it's WIT Vikings, and we have Malahide and Letterkenny Donegal and YIT, of course. That's on the Sunday. So that will be the first round games of Division 1, Super League, and the Ladies League. So there's plenty there to see, and that really brings an end to our show this evening. Thank you for joining us, and of course we'll be back every fortnight, every Tuesday fortnight, And it's not just basically for Super League teams. Obviously, once the County League gets going, we'll be dipping in as well and seeing what's going on around the county. A lot of fine work going on in basketball. It's great to have the sport back. I suppose the evenings are pulling in now a small bit. The courts are filling up. It's great to see kids back again, 10, 12, 14. And of course, the county leagues will be up and running all the way through. And of course, not only county leagues, there's fine basketball goes on in the schools, and of course with our MTU in Kerry as well. And we'll be checking with all those throughout the season. And we'll be with you throughout the season till the end of March, as I said, every fortnight. Thanks for joining us this evening. If you didn't catch us live, you can get in touch as well with a story on kerrysportshub@gmail.com. Drop us an email, and certainly we will be keen to feature good stories and maybe not so good as well, because at the end of the day they're all stories. But the one thing that we want people to know is that this is an outlet for anybody in basketball to promote the sport, and I think it's great that we're off the ground and running. And the best of luck to the 5 Kerry teams next weekend. This is Donald Barry, and thank you for joining us this evening.